and then we're going to jump right into this. All right, welcome everybody. We are doing this webinar on how to win with direct mail in 2024. A couple little details before we jump into this. I just want to make sure everyone knows how to use the Google Meet tool here for asking questions and a few other details. So just don't mind me here. We're gonna, you'll have to ignore the echoes. Actually, let's see if we can figure this out. In the bottom right corner, there's a couple icons. One of them is a chat with everyone window, which will open up a little chat box. Those messages go to everyone. Beside it, you'll find an activities button, and we're going to be putting some polls in, as well as the ability to leave Q&As for everybody. If you click on the Q&As underneath the activities, you can ask questions anonymously. So no need to let everyone else know what you're asking. Pop a question in there, and we're going to get to all those towards the end of the presentation. All right, let's jump right into this. So I'm just going to do a quick intro on myself and then let the other hosts do the same. I'm Nate Schick. I am unfortunately really under the weather today, so I'll do my best to keep this going. If my video shuts off, it's just so that I can breathe. I'm one of the founders of Post Now, and so we are a direct mail platform that specializes in helping small businesses, real estate agents. My background came from owning a marketing agency and playing in the digital space and finding ways to get people from offline to online, and we found direct mail is one of the best channels to do that. So I'll be talking the bulk of the presentation today, but let's introduce some of the other hosts here. Sandra, would you like to start that?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Sandra Bezier, and I work for Canada Post. I am a customer success manager, and I've been with the company for just 3 years now. And I've always specialized in the real estate vertical. So I've been supporting TRREB since 2020, and I negotiate rates at the head office level. So that's why you guys get a really good rate. You can thank your head office for that. And yeah, I'm working with Post Now. They are one of our Canada Post expert partners, and we're just helping to make the lives of real estate agents a lot easier with turnkey solutions.
Thanks, Sandra. Allie, can I get you to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Allie Edwards. I work in sales and development at Post Now. Specifically, I oversee our real estate accounts. And the reason for that is I've got 17 years in real estate experience. I've done everything from reception to conveyancing, right up to brokerage management and corporate franchise sales. So it is my lifeblood, my passion. And now I'm here to share it with you and my team at Post Now.
Thank you. And finally, Craig. We've got Craig from One to One Mailing and Post Now.
Hello, everybody. Craig Freer, One to One Mailing. I'm the production end of Post Now. So the other founder, my job is to manage the print facility for Post Now and maintain the high level of service that you're going to hear that we deliver to our customers, and ensure that we get your pieces out in a timely manner. Good to have you all on board.
Thanks. All right, Sandra, I'm going to just control the deck to make this easy, so you'll just have to let me know when you're ready for the next slide, but I'll pass it off to you. And actually, you know what? We're for anybody that's got a question, if you want to type it in the chat, if it's something that we want to address during the webinar, we will. A lot of conversations around direct mail are pretty complex, and so certain ones we'll try to take offline if it's pretty specific to you. So anyways, on that, Sandra, I'll let you take it away.
Great. Well, yeah, you're going to learn a lot today, but some of the key takeaways that we want you to learn about is why Canada Post Direct Mail. Why should you use us? We're also going to explain do-it-yourself versus done for you with turnkey solutions. We've got a blueprint for success, so you could start planning for 2024. Nate's going to share his #1 secret to success with all of us, so I'm excited to hear about that as well. And then we are going to leverage technology for cost and time savings. So you will see a demo of how to place your order from start to finish. Great. So just a little bit about Canada Post. Canada Post is the only company who could reach 16 million addresses in Canada every day. We can get your marketing message to your audience, unlike any other company, so you could sell more and grow your business. Canada Post has exclusive access to every condo and apartment building in Canada. So we can access up to 4 million households living in apartments and condos daily, and 85% of these units are located in major urban areas. As you can see, I've also focused in on Toronto. I know TRREB, you're the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board, and you expand way out of Toronto, but in Toronto alone, there are 1.28 million households living in apartments and condos. So this is a huge and desirable demographic, especially if you're an agent that specializes in condo sales. And we're the only company who could reach this demographic.
Awesome. Thanks, Sandra.
No problem. So with Canada Post, you could rest assured that your mail will be delivered professionally and the integrity of your brand and message will not be compromised. We only hire adult delivery agents, so your investment is protected and delivered in the mailbox and not on the doorstep. And we have been at Canada's service for over 250 years, and Canadians have confidence in our brand. So those are just a few reasons why to choose Canada Post. I'm going to pass it over to Ali now. She's going to talk about some stats.
Thanks, Sandra.
No problem.
So part of what I wanted to contribute here today is how I truly believe that direct mail should be part of a marketing plan for agents. So a few years back, I went to Inman Connect in New York City, and I had the privilege of listening to the CEO of what was formerly Realogy speak. And one of the things he said is, as an agent, we know that 1% to 2% of your active audiences are actively looking to buy or sell their home. Now, how are you going to stand out? What is it that you're going to do to set yourself apart from, every other agent in the game? And what he said to me was, we want people to focus on a multitude of meaningful marketing in a multitude of mediums. And what that meant was to not hang your hat all on online advertising or direct mail or any of the other facets that are available to you, but to use a meaningful combination of all of them. And so here's some stats that I like to give agents that really back that up. So 60% of consumers are more likely to make a purchase after seeing an ad that's presented to them in both offline and online channels. Your integrated campaigns, so tangible marketing and digital marketing, garner 39% more attention than purely digital ads. 72% of millennials say that print ads encourages them to go online to source more information about a person or a product. Consumers had a 40% higher brand recall when direct mail followed an email or a digital ad. So if you take away anything from my little portion here today, it's that I want you to think of direct mail as part of what you should be doing, albeit a very important part, but it should be an all-encompassing marketing plan. So that's it for me. I believe Nate's going to take it from here.
Thanks, Ali. Yeah, I do want to dwell on something here really quick with regards to Thanks, Ali. I do want to dwell on something really quick here with regards to millennials, in that there's often this comment of like no one looks at direct mail anymore, which couldn't be further from the truth. There's an interesting resurgence happening in younger generations as we don't get our bills in the mail. Most of what we get in the mail is not scary. It's not financial related, something that I have to pay. And so I'm far more willing to open up my mailbox more often and actually look at what comes there. I am bombarded by digital messages every single day. And so getting things traditionally is a wonderful way, as Ali mentioned, to bring people into your digital funnel and to really strengthen that multiple mediums of marketing. DIY or done for you? I think this is a big question that a lot of real estate agents that we talk to have, is that they've tried direct mail, oftentimes by themselves, with mixed results. And I just want everyone to know that while we're going to give you some demonstrations of the Post Now platform as an easy way to order direct mail campaigns and save money on print, you can take what we're going to give you today and use it in your own practice if you want to do things yourself. I will say this, I think the biggest advantage that a real estate agent gains when it comes to working with an expert partner like Post Now is time savings. Your time is valuable, and that's really where we want to focus, is giving you the best campaigns, but also saving you time so that you can put your effort towards activities that are worthwhile for you. All right, so let's jump into this presentation. So I've got a really simple outline for how to be successful in direct mail in 2024. This is something that we have helped execute for many, many real estate agents across Canada. It doesn't really change the process of how to do this. To be effective with direct mail, you need to farm the right neighborhoods, craft dynamic messages, repeat monthly, and like, I'm going to dig into this one, that's my secret, and then provide real value that sticks. Ultimately, if you can save time, that saves you money, and that's going to make your campaigns have a higher ROI. Our goal when we work with a real estate agent is to really work on generating 3 to 4 times the investment value that they put in as revenue for them. So let's start with farming the right neighborhoods. There's a few questions that we like to encourage everyone to ask. And do you understand the neighborhood that you're trying to target is definitely one of the ones to start with. And what I mean by that is, when you look at the neighborhoods that you want to farm, do you know who lives there? And do they match you? Do they match your personality? Do they match what you're trying to sell or what you're trying to get them to buy? You know, looking for a downsizer audience in a neighborhood that is predominantly families is probably not the best move, in that there's going to be so few people that are looking to downsize versus upsize in those situations. There's also this side to say that if you're going to direct mail to a farmed area, it needs to have enough historical transactions to actually make sure that you're going to have ROI value out of that. You guys know the stats, and we'll look at some stuff here in a demo here, but that's important, in that if you understand the commission opportunities that are available from a sold home and how many homes are going to sell within your given area on an average year, you know how much value there is in chasing those opportunities. The competition in the area. So if you're farming an area, how competitive is it in that particular area? That's generally something that you need to do your own work on, in that, you know, are there bus benches? Are there billboards? Are people in the neighborhood getting mail from other real estate agents? What about social media? And a lot of that is, it's just a matter of going into the neighborhood and figuring out who's dominant there. That doesn't mean that you can't play in a neighborhood that has dominant realtors, because just like every other company out there, you as an individual will have unique selling propositions and value statements that direct mail can really help get into your clients' hands and potential customers' hands. There's also the side to say that I can target geographically, or I can layer on demographics on top of that. And I think that's really the secret, is saying, like, I do want to farm a neighborhood, but there's going to be thousands and thousands of homes in a neighborhood. And I might not have a budget to hit 10 or 20,000 homes. I might only have a budget to hit 1 to 5,000 homes. And so I need to hit the neighborhood that's right for my goals. And then finally, are you going to be involved in that community? If you really want to stand out in a community from farming, you need to be in that community. You know, attend the events, be part of a board, of the community board, walk around, get your face visible. Mail is just one part of this mixed messaging, but it is a very effective part. All right, we're going to jump into a really quick demo of building an audience. I did see a question of, like, how do you find out this information? I'm going to show a couple things that I can help you recommend to dig into some information. Luckily, Toronto is full of data that's open and accessible to the public. I'm going to ask you guys to time me because I think a big part of what we're talking about is saving time. And so we're going to try to do these demos pretty quick, like if you were doing it for real. They're quick to do. And so if somebody wants to start a timer, feel free, and then you can let me know if I can get this done in under 5 minutes. So let's just pop open our, all right. All right, so I am logged into PostNow already, which is postnow.ca. All of you registered on the site already. So inside of this, we've got an audience builder, and I'm going to focus on a neighborhood called Newtonbrook inside of Toronto. So I'm doing a downsizers audience in this case. And so I'm going to select neighborhood male. As mentioned, I know there's a ton of homes in this area. I've only got budget for 2,500. And so I'm going to put my size of my campaign as 2,500. And then I'm going to build this audience. If you've used Precision Targeter from Canada Post in the past, you know how complex it can be if you're not using it on a regular basis. So we're going to do this. So on my tool, it's pretty straightforward. We're just going to look for our location. And where's the 401 here? Oh, give me a second. Let's try this again. Newton. So we're going to search up where we're trying to search. And so I'm looking for Newtonbrook. Here it is here. There's Newtonbrook East and there's Newtonbrook West. And so what I can do is I can use my little draw tool and I can outline the area that I would like to identify as my mail area. And there's going to be, I think I did the math on this already. I might have it open. Like here's Newtonbrook West. Again, this is Toronto data. You can look all this up. I've got 23,000 people in here with, where's my houses? 9,000 households. That's just the west one. The east is about the same. So if I go back to my audience builder, what I'm looking for is this downsizers though. And so I'm going to target houses, and I'm looking for neighborhood walks. So the area that a postman delivers to is considered a neighborhood walk. And I'm going to start by targeting by average age. I'm looking for downsizers, so I'm looking for people that are 51 to 80 and over, because if they've been in a neighborhood that's been around for a long time, so same thing, building construction period, we'll come back to, but if they've been in that neighborhood for a long time and in that house forever, you know, they just, that was their forever home, at a certain point, it's time for them to move on. And there's families that are clamoring to get into these inner areas that are high quality, that have great schools and walking neighborhoods around them. And so if I target this way, and then same thing, I can filter it down a little bit further and say I'm looking for homes built before 1990. I'm going to put a little note here saying looking for downsizers. We know all these terms internally, and so we can help out match the right neighborhoods. That's all I would do. And so I've outlined my area. I've chosen the dwelling types, houses, apartments, farms, or businesses, and then I've picked a couple demographics and set my options for them. Once that's done, I'm going to hit add entry, and I'll just give this a second to save, and then I can scroll down and see a sample of what this campaign is going to cost me. So I'm not buying a campaign, I'm just seeing an example of if I wanted to send a postcard to those 2,500 people, how much it's going to cost, including print, design, postage, all of the costs associated with that, and then I can save this audience. So that's all it takes to build an audience with PostNow. And the reason for that is we have real people behind the scenes that will look at the area you've drawn on a map, compare your demographics, and identify the right 2,500 or the right number of households that meets your goal. I know we've got a couple questions up in here. I think Craig's going to try to answer them as I go here, but I did see something about someone asking with regards to where do you find this type of data. A couple quick tips. Google Maps is an amazing place to start. I can find areas that I know I want to target. Each city tends to have some pretty amazing data that's available out there. And in this case, I found Toronto data that showed very specific areas along with population, changes, some basic demographic data, really good information to help me decide if this is an area that I want to go to. If I live in the area, chances are I actually know better than what's going on here and I know what's happening there. Another thing to consider is Honest Door from a data perspective. Honest Door is pulling in a lot of open data and is giving great information on a neighborhood about what's for sale, average house prices, and this is available to the public. You guys have all of your MLS listing data as well, and so data that oftentimes no one else can get. It's finding the little nuggets that you're like, that is an area that I want to go after. There's opportunities there. Okay, so I'm gonna, let's see. If we got a couple questions on audiences, I think Craig's gonna try to answer them, but I'm gonna pop on and move along here. That's all good. All right, so we talked about audiences. Now we need to talk about messaging. You need to message like a marketer. You are trying to attract people to your services and you as an individual. And just like good advertising, you need to answer the questions and the problems that somebody has or that they're looking for. A little bit of an anecdotal story. I have a dad that is a very difficult person to deal with for a real estate agent. He builds homes out on Vancouver Island, and about six to 8 homes a year. Nothing too crazy, but he has a challenge finding a real estate agent that can match who he is as a person. And so when he looks for real estate agents, he has very specific questions. And oftentimes it's a different type of real estate agent that would go with him versus what would go with a standard, I buy a home or I sell a home every 5 to 6 years. There's these different sides. And so messaging is very important because if you're trying to cut through the clutter in the mailbox and in the digital space, you need to have very strong messaging. And so I've got a few recommendations of how to craft quality headlines and content for your mail pieces. My first one, use benefit-driven headlines. So your headlines should immediately convey the benefit to your recipients. It's not about selling a property, it's about selling a dream, a lifestyle, or a solution to a problem. My house is too small, my house is too big, my house is too old. There's all these things that are going to be very specific to the area. So for example, turn the key to your dream home, or find your sanctuary in the city. You want to use powerful, emotive words that connect with the reader's desires and needs. All right, second one, clarity and urgency. You need a call to action. Somebody needs to know what they're supposed to do with that mail piece. It's very often that we see mail pieces that have been designed externally come into us and no one has put a call to action. So there's nothing for me to do as the recipient. What do you want someone to do? Ideally, you want them into your digital funnel. You want to get them online so that you can start retargeting to them, so that you can email them, so that you have more reasons to connect with this person. Being clear in those call to actions and using easy tools like QR codes to get somebody there is a great way to make sure your mail piece does well. And then finally, you need to localize and personalize. What do I mean by this? So if you're going after Newtonbrook, you want your piece to say Newtonbrook. You want to talk to the audience so that they understand that you have expertise locally, not in Toronto, in their little neighborhood. Everyone knows that their neighborhood is slightly different than everyone else's, and so I want a real estate agent that understands the challenges or the uniqueness of the area I live in. The same with personalization. So if you're doing a neighborhood mail campaign, it's not as big of a deal here, but if you're looking at a personalized mail campaign, inserting names and other details inside of your content is a great way to get higher engagement on those pieces. All right. I mentioned that the secret is repetition. And what I mean by this is you need to continually connect with those people in your desired neighborhood. That means continually sending messages to them, not just in direct mail, but in other forms too. Overlaying a social media campaign in the same area you're targeting with direct mail is a very effective way to hit them digitally and physically and add value to yourself and trust. We see 80% of campaign engagement happen after the 5th mailing, which means that for the first couple mailings, all you're doing is building trust and expertise and hopefully catching people. It's the real estate agents that have committed to direct mail that see the biggest returns. This past year has been very busy for us. We've been at a bunch of the various real estate conferences across Canada, including the TRREB, the big national RE/MAX one, the Century 21 one. And as we talk to real estate agents, what we find is the ones that are successful with direct mail have committed to it. And they continually do it year after year, and they see returns year after year. Some years are better than others as trends change, but they do say that being in people's homes makes a major difference to their expertise and people knowing who they are. So our recommendation, and this is part of this blueprint, is pick your neighborhood or your walks that you want to target and plan to do at least a 6-month program. It's unfair to measure your results unless you're going to do what we know works. And that, just like running a race, you can't win unless you complete it. And the same goes for this. It's like continually get in touch with them, start looking at your results, after you've connected with them 6 times over 6 months to see what's going on and to see if you're targeting the right area. That doesn't mean you can't adjust as you go. It just means that you do want to be consistent and actually put some trial into this. Okay. I do want to talk about the dollars and cents around this a little bit. And let's talk about some math here. And so if I'm targeting 2,500 households and 4% of them are going to sell in a year, I'm looking at 100 opportunities for sales to gain a customer in that neighborhood. And if a sales opportunity is worth, I don't know, what's the average in Toronto? 5%, $1 million, you're $50,000, you get half of that, 25 grand. It doesn't take a lot to see the payoff when a campaign of 2,500 pieces isn't much more than $1,000. So if I'm going to spend 6 grand on marketing, but I'm going to get an opportunity to sell 1 or 2 or 3 homes, it's very easy to see the ROI value of this marketing activity. Okay. Let's talk about real value. Headlines are one thing, but you need a reason for someone to keep onto that piece. Sticky marketing is awesome. And with real estate agents, there's so many cool things that you can put on a postcard. Yes, one side might be very sales focused and really promoting you, but on the other side, how do you make that piece stick in a home? We've seen a lot of really creative ideas, and I've got a few listed here. One of our favorites that we see agents do is recipes and drinks. And favorite drinks. So one side of your postcard is dedicated to sharing grandma's banana bread recipe or a favorite holiday drink coming up. Because that's something that all of a sudden it sticks at home. And if I like the recipe, it's into my recipe book, it's into my counter. And I start to see that hey, I align with this real estate agent. And it seems very minor, but it's emotional. Food is emotional, drinks are emotional. And it's that connection side to say, when I send the next follow-up piece, are they going to remember me? Other ideas are in sharing your own testimonials and client success stories. We know there's limitations on the just sold listings and how quickly a postcard like that needs to go out. There is no limitation on you promoting what a customer says about you, right? How that house sold and that, especially if you've got permission from the homeowner to talk about their story. You can include maintenance tips and seasonally targeting these so that they're relevant to the time of year is a big deal. Things like furnace tune-ups, how to maintain my AC, what do I need to prepare for winter, what can I do to my home to prevent winter damage? There's a lot of ideas. And so we have lots of ideas here. You guys all have lots too, but it's important to say the postcard is supposed to provide value. And because not everybody's in market at the same time, you need to provide values in different ways so that you can still build this expertise and trust in you as a real estate agent. All right, let's build a real campaign. And so here's what we're going to do. We're going to use that audience that we built in the campaign that we just did, and we're going to do a multi-drop campaign. One of the ways that technology and partners can save you money is by helping you print multiple campaign drops at the same time to help reduce print costs. You guys already have an amazing rate from Canada Post for postage, but it's print that becomes the cost thing that we need to sort out. So we're gonna do a neighborhood campaign of postcards, and we're gonna do 3 drops in 3 months. I'm gonna try to build this in about 7 minutes. So same thing, let's start a timer. Ali, do you wanna actually start a timer and then give me awesome. All right, let's see how we do. Okay, so I'm in Post now, I am logged in. I've got my campaign builder open here. And if anyone has questions about how to use this, Ali's gonna be the one to talk to after the call. She'll walk you through this in way more detail than we're gonna do right now. So this is our Newton Brook downsizers. I'm going to start by giving my campaign a name. We're doing neighborhood mail, so unaddressed. I'm not going to take any questions until I finish this because I'm being timed and I don't want to miss out on my my 7-minute mark here. So we're just going to give this a second. All right, so induction date I need to pick. I'm going to pick the 14th, so it's about 4 days away for my campaign to be produced and printed. We are using one of our existing audiences because we've already built it. And so here's that audience that we just built. It's going to auto fill in the details. And now we talked about this multi-drop component because we're going to scroll down here. At 2,500 pieces, my campaign rate is about 25 cents a piece for print, design, mail prep, targeting, all of that. But if I mailed to the same households multiple times, we're going to go 3 drops. I'm going to do a monthly schedule here. And I'm going to choose to only pay for my first drop's postage up front, and then I will be billed for the second and third drops when that time comes. You can see, but my rate has gone from 25 cents to 17 cents. And so I'm saving about 35% on my print costs by going this route. So I'm going to select my postcard. While this loads, you can see here that there's the ability to offset your print by planting trees. We work with a company out of Edmonton that plants trees across Western Canada and helps recondition Aboriginal lands back to what they used to be for all sorts of reasons. So it's a really cool program. Ask us about this if you want more information on Project Forest. I should choose to do that. And so then finally, I can choose a template. If I've already got a template made, then I could upload it. And so I can drag and drop my files right into here. In this case, I'm just going to pick one of my templates here, and we're going to pick, we'll just pick the first one here. If you want, you can blow these up and view the various sides of the postcard, as well as view the different options available. These are all customizable in the sense of the content on them. It's just the layout with the templates that we're looking at here. So here's a little bit of a nicer one. I think this is actually what I want to send out. So I'm going to choose this one here. So I've got this one chosen. I'll scroll to the bottom, add any final notes, just a demo. All right, we'll agree to the terms, and then we're going to generate the campaign. So I'm about 3 minutes in. Not bad. For me as an agent to be able to quickly put together a campaign in 5 minutes or less is a big deal. Typically, we hear that it can take a day or two just to figure out costs and targeting. And so being able to reduce that down by this much, oh man, do we ever get a lot of comments from agents that this has been a game changer for them that lets them really focus on the things that matter. So they can put more time into making sure they're hitting the right places, and they can go and actually spend time talking to the neighborhood a little bit more. All right, so this is processing. We're going to come back to this in just a second here. I'm going to pop this back open. Oh, back there. All right. Actually, we're not. Okay, so I'm on my payment screen. I should let everyone know we've got a promo for everybody that's on the call today. So there's a coupon code TRREB 2024, and that will take 15% off of your print and mail. So it's your print and design costs. Your postage is already discounted. We can't discount that more, but This 15% coupon is available until the end of the year. And so any campaigns you order before December 31st, you can apply this coupon and save 15% on the print and design costs. So that's all done. That's my demo for building a campaign. It's pretty straightforward. And we did it in time. Moving on from this, I do have a couple questions that I know come up every single time that we do a webinar or we chat with people. So I've got Craig on the line. Craig, let's do this quick fire thing. I'm sure you've got some questions back and forth, but let's kind of fire off a couple. Oh, Susan has a question. Let's answer a couple things here. We'll get to Susan's question too, because I know that's come up a couple times, but let's run through this. So what type of results are typical for direct mail?
Very good question. So it's a classic one. People are always looking for a percentage. 1%, 5%, 0.5%. Nate said it clearly earlier. If you're marketing into an area and there's a known percent of people that are going to be selling or buying, so that's that 2,500 households, 4% are going to be in the market to buy or sell their home. And that's 100. Your response rate is going to be based on what the market is looking to do. So if you're top of mind, you know that you're going to be getting access to the percentage of those people. So if I was to say, what's the percent based on 2,500? That's the wrong way of thinking. You're actually looking at the percent of the 100 that would be in the market to be using your product.
Yeah, and I would even say, like, even beyond that, like, who cares about response rate? It's about what really comes in from dollar and cents. And so we brought it up before, but 3 to 4 times your ROI is what you should be expecting from a quality run direct mail campaign.
Yeah. And that's what, whether you want to call them legends or masters in real estate, you look at the ones that have been in real estate long enough, they built their books. Some of them, they built their books strong enough that they don't use a lot of marketing. But a lot of the successful ones are using multiple marketing avenues to drive more business.
Yeah.
And direct mail is in there.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Next quick question. How can I track direct mail results?
Yeah. You know what? COVID gave us QR code usage, and that is a great way again people to actively communicate with you. If you have a call to action on your mail pieces, whether it's a report for the area, use a QR code, gather some information from them. The information could be as simple as name and name and contact information, phone number. But you can also ask a question or two. Are you in the market to buy or sell in the next 6 months?
Yeah. Even getting them to your landing page, if you've got a retargeting cookie on it for your socials or Google, is a great way, because even without them giving you their information, you can follow them along digitally. How much is direct mail?
Less than you think.
Yeah, that's good. We didn't show it, but we do have an entire cost calculator. And actually, you know what? It's worth just doing this for 2 seconds. And I know people are asking questions. We're going to get to everything we can here. So on the site, there's a direct mail pricing tool. And so this is a instant quote tool where when you're logged in as a TRREB agent, so if we've assigned you as a TRREB agent, you'll see all the proper pricing for TRREB, postage and print details. But all you'd have to do is enter in a quantity, choose your mail type, and it gives you the options that are available for you. And so I can see my campaign rate, my contract postage rate, and the total cost of this campaign. What's nice is the moment I change this, I see that reflect. Unlike Vistaprint and other companies, we don't make you print 500 or 1,000 or 2,000. It's the exact number of pieces that you want, and it's always cheaper. There's never these weird price breaks. So if I wanted to print 3,348, I'm going to get a price for 3,348. And so I think this is important to consider, in that, like, there is no print wastage. There's a sustainability message here as well, and that you're doing the best you can. So yeah, really nice quote tool there. We've got another question here. Let's pop this one open. Can you help me with my strategy? Yes. Yeah, nice and simple. And then I think the final one here before we get into your guys' questions is, do you do any other types of mail? We talked neighborhood mails today. There's postal code targeting and there's personalized mail. I see a message come up around, could I do a demo around a condo? That is postal code targeting. If you wanted to target a single condo tower, I doubt we'll have time today, but we would love to talk to you offline about how to do that. It's just a little bit more particular as to how to plan that out, but our tools are awesome on that one. So I'm just gonna pop open this so you guys can kind of keep the details here open for yourselves, and copy down that TRREB 2024. If you're on the webinar and you don't catch this and you get in touch with Allie, she'll make sure that you get the coupon code for this as well. So let's jump into these questions and dig in.
Nate, I'm not able to respond to the questions